what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and what a great guest posing we just had at the Pittsburgh Pro 2023. Everybody showed up with the exception of Rafael Brandao, who was sick and couldn't make it. But this year, big Ramy actually showed up. You had Samson Dauda, if we're going from left to right, Samson, Ramy, Shaun, Clarida, Nick Walker, Derek Lunsford, and Hunter Labrada. So to me, this was actually pretty surprising because I felt like Ramy looked a little bit undersized in this group of guys. Ramy, who is supposed to be the biggest guy pound for pound, really didn't look that big here. You had this really round and full off-season Nick Walker. You had Samson Dauda at 313 plus pounds. God knows how big he is at this point now. That was a couple weeks ago. He said he was 313. But that's what we talked about going into this guest posing is now you've got off-season Samson next to Ramy, this big 300 plus pound Samson. Is Ramy still going to look as big? And I think the answer to that question is no. Then you've got this big, like I said, off-season Nick. You've got Derek Lunsford that looks like he's been packing on some size in this off-season. Your Olympia runner-up. I saw him at the Arnold Classic, and he did some poses in the hotel room, and he looked massive. He looks definitely bigger here than he looked in March at the Arnold. He looks like he's put on a significant amount of weight since then. So it looks like he's not messing around. He really is trying to play with the big boys and play the size game a little bit. Samson looked incredible, like I said, being pretty much, I would say, the tallest guy in this guest posing, having probably the best frame to carry 300 plus pounds. And dare I say, I don't know if it's the lighting or the angle or what, but dare I say he almost looked bigger than Ramy when he was standing next to Ramy. Maybe it was because he was on the end, but he looked wider. He looked a little bit rounder. It looked like his physique had a little bit more pop to it. To me, Ramy looked kind of flat and small, but again, I want to say kudos to Ramy for showing up this time because, as you guys know, it was like a big controversy that Ramy didn't show up to last year's Pittsburgh Pro, and a lot of people felt like he was penalized for that because this is Jim Mannion's show. But honestly, Samson really impressed me here next to Ramy. To me, he looked bigger, rounder, had more pop, more impressive, and Ramy overall looked kind of flat. Now, I'm sure you guys will let me know what you think in the comments down below about Ramy versus Samson and about this guest posing in general. Of course, I don't want to forget you had Shaun Clarida there. But like I said, in this group of guys where you've got these mass monster men's open guys now in the offseason, several of them probably close to 300 pounds with Nick and Hunter probably around 280. Derek, I would say, probably like mid-260s here. He looks big. And then, of course, Ramy and Samson both over 300 pounds here. I think Shaun Clarida gets a little bit overshadowed, maybe a little bit overlooked in this group of guys because these guys look massive. Nick looked really big. A very contrasting look from how we saw Nick at the Arnold Classic, where he was a little bit flatter, more depleted, probably the most ripped version of Nick that we had seen. But here, much rounder, much fuller, obviously off-season. Just like last year, I would say Derek is holding his own here, but that kind of goes without saying now after his runner-up position at the Olympia, so you kind of know he's going to hold his own at this point. But he does look significantly bigger to me. Put him next to Nick Walker, he looks still pretty big. Hunter Labrada, I think, is still having that issue with his midsection. It still looks kind of weird in a lot of these poses. But yeah, overall, Samson really impressed me. Nick looked impressive, seeing this rounder, fuller Nick. And Derek really impressed me from how big he looks. He looks, like I said, at the Arnold, he looked really big, but here he looks even bigger. So that, to me, is pretty impressive. But I'm very curious to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section below about this guest posing. This is always, one of the more interesting ones, if not the most interesting one of the year, seeing these guys. I, for one, was most excited to see that Ramy actually showed up. I wasn't really sure what to expect after last year, but I was proud of him for actually following through on this commitment. And again, I think that at the end of the day, if a Mr. Olympia or former Mr. Olympia doesn't want to do anything all year long and just wants to win the title and go home and not have to do anything, I think he should be able to do that. Once you win the title, you got paid. They're not paying you like a year-round salary to show up to these events, but they were going to pay him to show up last year to this specific event. He did say, yes, I'll do it. He committed to it. So I think if you commit to something, you should show up and should have to show up. But I do want to point out that if you are Mr. Olympia like Hadi Chupin is right now, he showed up, he was the best bodybuilder on that day, he got his prize money for the competition that day. Realistically, if Hadi Chupin doesn't want to do a single thing the rest of the year, I think he should have that option. And the same is true for Ramy, but I think once you commit to an event like this, a guest posing like this, I think you should have to show up and follow through for the fan, not even for the promoters, for the fans, because I feel like a lot of people showed up here specifically wanting to see Ramy, because you don't get very many opportunities throughout the year if you live in the U.S. to see Ramy in person. and this was one of those opportunities. So at the end of the day, props to Ramy for showing up. Great guest posing, very exciting. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. Who do you guys think looked the best? Who do you guys think looked the worst? And what did you think overall? Make sure you guys like and subscribe for more content just like this one. And I want to give a shout out to my buddy Trent Kelly, who actually provided this video for me today, _Trent Kelly on Instagram. If you want to follow him, shout out to Trent. Appreciate you, bro. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.